guys, a little bit more information here. How are we all? Hope we're all going well. We've got a little bit more information on the Prado dual tank transfer system. As I said, we haven't done a lot of videos on this, bits and pieces here and there. If you've got, it's a very rare thing to have a problem with a fuel transfer between the two tanks, and quite often it can be within the tank, different parts of the transfer system. It's not usually the pump, it can even be this filter here. There's another component that, look, I don't regularly clean on my vehicle or when servicing, but I'm going to give you some information because see there's kind of like a bit of mud here and there's a bit of mud there and there's a bit of mud up there as well. Now, the reason I think I don't have problems and most vehicles don't, if you keep it clean, you're not going to have any issues. It's the off-roaders that are going to have issues, I think, generally. It's people on trips that do have issues. Avoid the mud. The mud equals money thing comes into play. And when I'm finished with a vehicle off-road, so the way I look at it is if it's not mud, it's not going to block. We're talking about a fuel tank breather, right? That's what we're talking about in a moment. But if you park it in mud, you may block the breather and cause a problem, okay? But if it's just dust, I don't think it's going to block it. Now, what I do when I'm done, I don't necessarily have to wash the car every time with a pressure washer, but I do get under it with a hose and wash mud out from a lot of places, including sticking the hose up over the top here, right? You know, I'm just bent down near the back, you know, the back bumper bar here, right? And stick the hose nozzle, you know, on full, whatever, with the water just sort of going up there till I see it all running out clean, and I spray it on in here because I want to wash out the calipers and any handbrake assembly. I'm washing over the diff here, all around here, up around the springs, and I'm sticking the hose right up there as well to get, from this side behind the tyre here, right, on this angle, up, around, I'm sticking in every direction, I'm moving really slowly so that I'm getting all the dirt out from all the places that matter. And look, I try not to get it up there, but you get that. I like a few high country river crossings, but you've got this breather that sits up here, right? And if I can get an assistant to, we're going to actually show you how to remove it, bring it down and clean it, but my point is get some water around this sucker when you're home to rinse any dust and dirt. And if you go play in bog holes, right, that's this sucker here, right, and we've already had it off. We did a bit of a test thing to just see, right, but I just want to show you gently how to carefully slide that off the bracket there. Right, pretty straightforward to do, right, then it comes down, then it's a bit fiddly, we're going to get it off the line if we can, right. Might be hard to see, but you can figure that part out, guys. You figure out how to, undo the clamp, move the clamp, slide the hose off, whatever. Now this is, you don't need to do this. You can do it as maintenance if you want, but I don't do it because you're talking about a problem that's less than 1 in 1,000, probably less than 1 in 5,000, right? So it's not a big problem. So of course I'm not going to do things, I'm going to be there all day cleaning and doing things on the vehicle if I'm going to take a guess at the 1 in 5,000 or 1 in 10,000 problem. The tip is keep the car clean. So if you do use it off-road, give it a good clean up. Just lots of water, guys. When you see don't waste water, but when you see the water running, if you're going to go out again in a few, if you're out there still, there's no need. But if you're going to, if you're back from a trip and you've been in a bit of a muddy bog hole that might have splashed up there, you need to wash that mud. It causes problems with so many components, really. So you do need to wash it up maintenance-wise. But if you do have that fuel transfer problem, it's usually more common in the tank. And you got to do if you've done the basics, right? So I'm always going to assume you've done the basics. This is the basics. I mean, if you've got that, or if I've asked you and you say, or one of our workshop partners says, have you cleaned and you say you've cleaned it, then we're not going to go ahead and clean it if you said you've cleaned it or check it, right? But one of the first things is to eliminate, we want to check it, change that fuel filter, okay? We want to, so there's the end of the thing, okay? So there it is, right? There's the component, okay? And we're going to give that a clean out. What are you going to use to clean that out, mate? What do you reckon?
Bit of brake cleaner.
Bit of brake cleaner, yeah. Blow it out. Make sure it's all clean and dry at the end. That's it, right? Make sure that's all clean. Just get the whole component off, obviously. And if you wanted to eliminate and know if it's a problem before you just clean it and guess, you can take this off like this. Make sure it's all clean, as we said already. So we're assuming everything's already clean, right? It's much easier to diagnose and not have problems and have reliability if things are kept clean, right? So have it clean. You could pop this off yourself. while you're at the servo if your car won't fill up, and then then continue to try and fill it up. And if it fixes the problem, then you know that's the problem, and you don't have to go any further. You can clean it up. You can even replace it if you want. I've never replaced one. Perhaps there's something in there that, you know, restricts it, a little filter type thing. It's not something, I'm pretty sure it's a one-way valve maybe, and I think there's probably a filter in there as well, and I know they get dust in them, right? So, but dust shouldn't hurt them, right? You can make it part of your maintenance if you like, but something just to be aware of. Bada bing, right? So you've got clean your breather, you've got change your filter. Now what can happen sometimes, make sure your filters are clean, do an inspection on them. Depending on what brand you're using, there can be small debris and things that come out of them that can block up components in the fuel tank. And if you do check or clean your breather and change your filter and you still can't fill up that tank and you're having problems, then about the only thing left really, it's not going to be in your rear tank here, it's most likely going to be in this front tank here. And we've got videos on showing the components in there, the little venturi that can get things stuck in it. That's probably the most common problem, okay, that little venturi with a bit of rubbish stuck in it. I can't say that I remember, there's been people who replace pumps and then come back to me and say, oh, you know, I had this problem, I replaced the pump, it still doesn't work, you know. So they've cleaned the breather, they've changed the filter, they've changed the pump, it didn't work, they've cleaned the venturi, it didn't work, and then finally they do what I do, because I haven't got time to muck around and go in and out and muck around. I go, well, we don't recommend changing that pump as part of the 150 service because of that very low failure rate. We don't think it's worth it. We're going to save you the work, the money. But when it comes to the point at 150, 200, 250, 300,000 Ks, I don't muck around. I'm going to say, you know what? Replace that whole assembly in the tank with the pump, the sender unit, everything. Then you've ticked the boxes. All you've got is a clean, empty tank, brand new sender unit. You're going to put a new filter on it. You're going to put that new fuel hose on the back of the tank if you haven't already done it already. You know, that one up there that cracks. You're going to clean the breather, and there's nothing left that's going to let you down. Do the job once, do it right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the solution to fix the problem, right? But what this video is about is trying to explain to you that if you keep that area up there clean, because see what I mean? Look, the car's clean. This is the whole point. Look at this, pretty clean under the side steps. Yeah, it's been used, but it's been washed out. You know, look around. It's all pretty clean. You want to stay still for a minute? Sorry. It's been used. You can see the mud stains. It's been used, but it's been clean. Bit of messy because we've changed the fuel filter recently, and you know that's why it's a bit extra clean. But you can see it's been used. But look up there, guys. It's one of the areas that a lot of people are missing, and you don't know. And that's why I'm here to tell you. Stick the hose up there above the diff, and usually that's where you're going to stick the hose up between the tail shaft and the muffler here, because that's going to hit that fuel filter and keep all the dirt and everything off that, because we need the clips. See the orange clips? We've got videos on changing that filter as well, right? So it's not in this video. We've got a couple of videos on that. By sticking the hose, you know, it's not a big reach in. You get down on your knees, you reach your arm in, just past them and point it upwards, each side of the tail shaft. You're cleaning all that, you're cleaning all this, you're cleaning all the way along here, and point it, just angle your hose, bang this way a bit, over between this way. Just, you know, it'll be clean, and I really don't think you'll have any issues. Our 120's got nearly 400,000. We've got other customers. We've got a number at the moment we've been seeing with over 400,000. Never had the tanks out, never had an issue, and that's that valve all maintained, cleaned up, and refitted, ready to go. So that's a bada boom, bada bing on that one, right? So that's how it sits up there, guys. That's what you're looking for, directly above the rear diff. That joins together. That is your breather for both your fuel tanks, okay? So that is the fuel tank breather. I know there was a few people that asked about that as well. We've been a bit blasé about it because personally, I haven't had a vehicle in the workshop with a fuel transfer problem that the breather's been the issue, and a lot of people have checked them. I don't know that there's been. Have you guys had an issue where there was one of these blocked? Was there one or none, or no, not really?
There was one.
So there was one. So there was one vehicle that we know of out of all the gazillions, and I'm sure there's a few more, but we're talking about a handful of thousands or tens of thousands of vehicles. So anyway, guys, you know, like usual, hopefully that's been a help for you. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, you know, the like, thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button now, turn that bell on. We've got more awesome, genuine information to help you coming your way. Thanks for watching. See ya.